Here in the sunshine at Paul Ricard, the cars are making their way up to the grid for the main race for the Blancpain GT Series Sports Club. And this promises to be another very entertaining race because we've got one of the bigger grids, 21 cars this weekend. We had a lively, but perhaps more controlled than Monza first race, except that the drama didn't end at the checkered flag. It carried on up the stairs to the stewards' room, and the top two both given a penalty. So the race not won by Mario Cordoni, who had made it 3 out of 3, but instead by Luigi Lucchini, who had been a rather distant third, being caught at the end indeed by Carrie Moget. David Addison trackside, cars on the grid, 40 minutes this main race, and it'll be getting underway very shortly. And just to make the point, the race winner on the road, Mario Cordoni, and the second placed man across the timing line, Christian Hook, both given a drive-through penalty, which, because it was post-race, had to be then converted into a 30-second penalty. They fell to 11th and 12th accordingly, and that was for jumping the start. Cordoni went when the lights were on red. Hook went with him, which is kind of acceptable. There is Christian Hook's car, because if the leader goes, you're meant to go at his pace, you go with him. But what he did was tuck in behind and therefore did not cross his grid markers. You must stay in a line until you get to the timing beam. You can't move left or right out of sequence, and that's what Christian Hook did. So he was penalised for a false start as well. So there the two of them are. Christian Hook nearest to us. So it was a case of Hook, wrong line, and a sinker, really, because he fell down the order. Mario Cordoni, the race winner on the road, lining up alongside. And so Luigi Lucchini wins the qualifying race and takes pole position for the BMS Scuderia Italia team, the same team that had a Formula 1 involvement, of course, at the Dallara. And alongside is Carrie Moget there in the big BMW, the Gignon racing car, the second row of the grid. You'll see Coach McKenzie, the pseudonymed German driver, with the Lamborghini, and Patrick van Glebeker alongside. So let's have a replay of that start from the qualifying race. The lights are still on red. You see the green car at the very front just move across to the inside, and as they blast down towards turn 1, already out of shot, Cordoni had accelerated and was well clear in the lead. Christian Hook tucking in behind him, so that's partly why he received that penalty as well. The grid is formed, and it's going to be a 40-minute race. One or two other stories. We had Edward Lewis Browner, the other pseudonymed German in the race, dropping away with his Porsche. That was losing speed earlier. He's hoping for better fortune. So is Cody Gosselin, who was a retirement in the pit lane in race 1. So there's a Ferrari 458, forgive me, of Luigi Lucchini, the older car, on pole position. But Lucchini is an experienced driver, and so slotting into position on pole position, he has Carrie Moget alongside, who also has been around the block a fair few times, and Carrie Moget will be worth keeping an eye to here. Quite often, Carrie seems to be a bit, not slow at the start, but relaxed, and then he gets quicker after 2 or 3 laps of the race when he gets into his stride. He's yet to win in the sports club, but starting on the front row of the grid, could this be his day? Because the car went strongly in the earlier race. We've got a gap on the grid, I think. It looks as though the Car Collection Motorsport Audi's missing of Dirk Parhofer. So there's a question mark over car 18, which would have been on the 9th row. Could be that he's in the pit lane, just out of sight, because he may not have got down the pit road to the track before the pit lane closed. So we'll have a look and see when the cars are released onto this final formation lap in a moment. Coach McKenzie's sort of safari liveried Lamborghini, Patrick van Glebeker alongside, who knows his way around here. Patrick involved in the Curbstone Track Day company, which is based here. So let's have a stroll up the grid. Ferrari on pole, Luigi Lucchini, Carrie Moget alongside. Coach McKenzie, Patrick van Glebeker, row 2. I won't pick out everybody, but let's just look at some of the cars. An all Porsche 4th row. Go back a little bit further. This is the row to watch. Red Ferrari, green Ferrari, Mario Cordoni, Christian Hook, the two together. And then you'll see the older Mercedes, there it is, of Roberto Raineri. The gap in front means that missing is indeed Dirk Parhofer at the back. Hoping for better fortune this time around is Cody Gosselin. Very experienced driver, Cody, because he was a Formula 3000 gun in the early 1990s. 15 seconds to the green flag lap. The green flag at the back means everybody is ready to go, and the pace car as it is will blast away and give itself some distance so that when the race cars are released, they can go at a decent speed in order to catch up. And now Joel Duval, who is part of the race direction team and is in control of the lights, will release the cars. Alain Adon, the race director, ensconced in race control, looking at his back monitors and the television feed, making sure that the race runs safely and smoothly. As we move up the grid, there you'll see the Ferrari of Deborah Mayer, the Kessel racing car, which is a bit like a Bruges, really, in the blue and purple colours. And that car now making its way off towards the first sequence of corners at the Verrières, out of which the cars turn on this fast blast down to the Virage d'Hôtel. Luigi Lucchini and Carrie Mauger on the front row, Coach McKenzie and Patrick Van Glebacker row 2, Pierre Feligioni and Angelique Detavernier, the French model, alongside. Then you've got Edward Lewis Browner and Jürgen Hering on the 4th row, ahead of Murat Sultanov, newcomer to the championship, and Frédéric Fangio on the 6th row of the grid. You'll find Mario Cordoni and Christian Hoek, they're the two penalised from that earlier race, both worth watching here, ahead of Mike Hanch and Klaus-Dieter Freres, who was the winner of the Iron Cup for the over 60s in race 1, the qualifying race. Then Steve Earle and Louis-Philippe Cernan, who are also out of that Iron Cup, ahead of Claudio Schiavone, a gap where Dirk Parhofer should have been. Deborah Mayer and Roberto Raineri will be on the 10th row, and all on his own on row 11 is Claude-Yves Gosselin. It's a lovely mix of cars. You've got BMW, Ferrari, Lamborghini, both the Gallardo and the Huracan represented. Audi, courtesy of Dirk Parhofer. Hopefully that will squeeze in for the pit lane. Mercedes and Porsche as well. Unlike the cars for the Blancpain GT Series Endurance Cup, these cars will use the chicane on the Mistral Straight. There are lots of different configurations these days of Paul Ricard, because in its period of being closed to the public and public race meetings, it's very much been this high-performance test track, and lots of different configurations of the track, and indeed of this one section with, I think, 4 different routes through that chicane alone are all offered out. So the drivers using what's called the chicane Nord, which is the longer and slower run through the chicane. So the pace car now bunching up everybody as they run at the front through Beausset, at the back up towards Signes. We've got 1 or 2 stragglers, it must be said, so some are going to have to hurry up a little bit to catch up with the Crocodile here. And it's going to be interesting to see what progress Cordoni and Hoek can make, because they were certainly the benchmark drivers in the opener, in the qualifying race. But now, starting that little bit further back, what progress can be made? They looked quick and very evenly matched, because no matter what Hoek did, he never got close enough to have a real go. They just ran line together for the bulk of the race. There's the rear of the grid, Steve Earle, Louis-Philippe Cernan, there Deborah Mayer, ahead of Roberto Raineri, and then Claude-Yves Gosselin. So now the cars get themselves in this 2x2 Noah's Ark formation, ready for the start of the race. Number 7 is Luigi Lucchini in the 458, the older car, with the new BMW alongside. We've had on occasions the likes of Pierre Hershey with his Z4 BMW, but inevitably perhaps the championship has evolved into bringing the latest machinery. So the fact that Luigi Lucchini is going so well in his older car is impressive as they come up towards the timing line. Then now 40 minutes of racing for the Blancpain GT Sports Club main race about to get underway. Lights go green. There was a little bit of moving I thought I saw in the pack, and let's see who's going to come out best of that as they blast off down towards turn 1. It's Carrie Mauger in the BMW that's made a very good start indeed with all the Ferraris around him, and Mauger takes the lead, very brave on the outside line. Van Glebecker's up to 3rd, is he? They squeeze their way through. Lucchini drops back into 2nd. Angelique Detavernier on her toes as well, gaining ground. It might have been her that moved across the pack, and that might be frowned upon as they come down now towards the Virage d'Hôtel for the first time. Coach McKenzie losing out as well as another of the Ferraris dives up the inside there. So it is in the lead of the race, Carrie Mauger. Lucchini is 2nd. Van Glebacker is 3rd as they work their way now through Saint-Baume for the first time. And again, the Porsche of Edward Lewis Browner, which was struggling in the first race, has dropped a whole heap of time on this opening lap here because he's fallen away as they come now onto the Mistral Straight for the first time. They blast their way down towards the chicane, the Nord chicane, and Carrie Mauger leads the way. Could he come through to score a maiden win? Let's see. Into the chicane they come, hard on the brakes. Turn left, burst of acceleration, turn right. You've got in the background Feligioni in the blue Lamborghini looking up the inside line. Has he gone through? Yes, he has. So the Gallardo goes ahead of the Huracan of Coach McKenzie. Through turns Christian Hoek. Behind him, it is number 3, Klaus-Dieter Freres in the Ferrari. The other one, of course, pushing hard is Mario Cordoni, trying to get himself up the order as they sweep through Signes for the first time. So Cordoni making very good progress early on. There is Christian Hoek going through, and it is Luigi Lucchini then trying to build the gap over everybody else as they swing their way now through Beausset for the first time. Carrie Mauger trying to build up the gap as they're clipping the curb is Feligioni, heading towards now the Virage du Lac. 53 Ferrari is one of the AF Corsa fleet, and it's Frédéric Fangio at the wheel as he comes now on towards the end of the lap. There is the leader, that is Carrie Mauger. And the BMW for the Butson-Gignon team promoted because of the post-race penalties to second in the qualifying race, and being able to convert that into the race lead as they come up then up the curb. There goes Christian Hook. Tries to get up alongside Frédéric Fangio as they come over the timing line. Ogier leads, Lucchini is second, Van Glebecker is third. Fourth, it is the charging newcomer for Kessel, or Murat Sultanov, the Russian driver. Fifth, it is now 55, Angelique Detavernier. And sixth is Pierre Felagioni, and there a challenge is made against Cordoni by number 66, the Porsche, in the hands of Jürgen Hering, but that was to try and retake his place. So Cordoni is up into 8th spot now. Mario Cordoni, winner of the 2 races at Monza, has certainly proved he's got the speed, but he's also got more time in this main race to pick his way up through the order. Can he do it? Can Karim Ogier build a gap that he can preserve into the second part of the race? As here they come then now, swinging their way out of the Virage du Camp. And wide goes Edward Lewis Browner in the Porsche, having a mare really today. He's down in 14th place, and the car in the first race had good bits and then hesitant bits where he would just lose pace. When it was running cleanly, it was fine, and it looks like the same is happening again here. Almost like he's got some weird electrical problem. Felagioni now starting to attack. Angelique Detavernier up the road ahead as they dive into the chicane, and contact is made. And Angelique Detavernier gets turned around. Edward Lewis Browner up the inside of the Ferrari as well as he comes to the yellow flag zone. Bits fly, markers are in the road. Others scatter in avoidance. And I think Pierre Felagioni may find himself with the case to answer there. So Felagioni gets going. Angelique Detavernier now rejoins as well, but was there anything else that she could have done to avoid the contact out of all of that? She was ahead, it was her line, she had to turn in. And Felagioni, and that's an age-old problem at that chicane, dived up the inside, wasn't fully alongside, and the contact made. So Detavernier rotates, and so the Belgian driver, I should have said earlier, Angelique Detavernier, drops down the order. Green flags then now to say that you're into a clear zone again, as there through comes the race leader. Karim Ogier it is up front. He led at the end of the opener by 1.7 seconds, and he's getting away, is he not, from Luigi Lucchini. So the big BMW booms onto the pit straight. Through they come together. Second spot Lucchini, third is Van Glebecker. Over the timing line they go once again. 2 laps in the book. The leading gap is up to 2.3 seconds. There's the incident, and Felagioni was nearly fully alongside, but not enough. So as Detavernier turned in, what was the option? Go up the escape road, give the place away. Contact is made, and straight away Richard Norbury, the chief steward for the championships, having a look at it. So we have the leading car wriggling through turns 3, 4, 5, second, third, fourth, all about Ferrari. Lucchini, Van Glebecker and Sultanov. Fifth, Lamborghini McKenzie, Coach McKenzie, the pseudonymed German, ahead of now sixth, Mario Cordoni. Now Cordoni's best lap is a 2 minutes 9.571. He's not lapping as quickly as the leader, of course, because he's got traffic around him. There's Karim Ogier. He's got all of that real estate ahead of him, so a clear road, and in fact now a clear road behind, because he's shaking off Luigi Lucchini as they accelerate up towards the chicane Nord. Jürgen Hering, Porsche, goes through, and here comes Christian Hook, trying to find a way up past Frédéric Fangio and not being able so to do. Cordoni has been better at getting through the traffic, and Hook a bit stuck really in all of this, like he was in the first race. He gets so close but then struggles to be able to find a way by. Patrick Van Glebecker becoming a man to watch, quicker than anybody in Sector 1. Cordoni significantly quicker than anybody in Sector 2, and he's half a second faster at that point. Van is Karim Ogier, the race leader. There's Christian Hook in 9th place in car 33. Christian Hook, the regular in Sports Club, but occasional Blancpain sprint racer. To the very outside line, going through the Double Doigt de Beausset. Coach McKenzie coming under attack now from Mario Cordoni, and we're getting our first track limits warning, and that is for Deborah Mayer, who is down in 18th place. Deborah in the Kessel Racing Ferrari, regular in Ferrari Challenge as well as in the Le Mans Cup. Frédéric Fangio really feeling the pressure now from Christian Hook, who was always very good in the first race, the qualifying race here through Virage du Lac. Up the inside, he goes into Virage du Pont, he goes through, but will he go wide? If he does, no, gets it all done. I was going to say that would leave the door open to Fangio, but he does not run wide, and so Christian Hook has done it, gains the place. Christian Hook takes over now for 8th position as he comes over the timing line. Next target, Jürgen Hering. There is Coach McKenzie, who has got breathing down his neck the Ferrari of Mario Cordoni, the race 1 winner. Karim Ogier goes through. race leader. Now there, a bit late into the race, is Dirk Parhofer, who is 2 laps down, but has now joined in. So, sorry, he's 1 lap down, but has now joined in. While the car was late on parade, passed, but Dirk Parhofer is in, albeit late. So he now needs others to have problems to bring him into the mix and gain places, but he's got the track time if nothing else. Race leaders up to the chicane. The leading gap 2.8 seconds last time as Carrie Moget continues to pull away. Through they turn, and Dirk Parhofer's Car Collection Motorsport Audi running ahead of Jürgen Hering, so it's kind of pretending to be 7th, but Parhofer gets out of the way coming through the chicane. Ferrari's into senior now. Lucchini to Van Glebecker is going to change, and a drive-through penalty for Pierre Feligioni for causing a collision. So the stewards have had a look at it, and Richard Norbury, as I say, is the chief steward for this championship, applies the penalty, and Pierre Feligioni, who had dropped back anyway into 15th place, is now going to be given this drive-through penalty for causing a collision. Now there is the battle for 5th place. Coach McKenzie just ahead of Mario Cordoni, crawling all over the back of him, and Cordoni knowing he's got to get on with this because the leaders are 8 seconds up the road now. Jürgen Hering's Porsche inching back up into the mix, so Cordoni a bit stuck. The balance performance, of course, works just as effectively in Blancpain GT Sports Club as it does in the Endurance Cup. Drama's there for Mike Hansch, who was in 13th place, and it's been unlucky for him because he's off the road, way off the road, and he's now got his map out to try and work out which way he's going back to the circuit. Look how far off he is. Back on. I think that might have been coming out of senior, to be fair. Down at Virage d'Hôtel is Carrie Moget. He's on lap number 5 in the qualifying 25-minute race. They got 12 laps in. So what are we thinking? Up towards maybe 20 for the main race. There is Mario Cordoni still hustling on in pursuit of Coach McKenzie. The Lamborghini Huracan turning its way now up once again towards the right-hander at Saint-Baume. Mario Cordoni, who was just dominant at Monza in races that were, to be fair, a bit on the destructive side, but here he's trying to get himself up through the order. He won the qualifier by 2 seconds, he won the main race by 9. Carrie Moget taking 2nd in both of those races, and of course he became 2nd in the earlier one, so he's got this 100% record of 2nd places, but he'd really, really like a win. Confirmation that Mike Hansch was off at senior, and he's back and running, but a long way down the order now, down in 20th place. Has Pierre Feligioni taken his drive through? Not yet. And Mike Hansch has been into the pit lane as well, so maybe it was a problem that put him off. Cordoni to the inside of the Lamborghini, but Coach McKenzie fends him off, coming into Beausset now. Through the right-hander, the long, looping right-hander they go. Up now towards Bendor. And Coach McKenzie is able to fend off the Ferrari, and here Cordoni has the same frustration that Christian Hook had behind him in the first race, because the cars are so evenly matched, it is really hard to find a way through. The Lamborghini has its strengths at certain parts, the Ferrari at others, and there, look, Cordoni carrying the speed through Virage du Lac, getting a little bit nearer, trying to unsettle the Lamborghini wide in to Virage du Pont. Might be tight out, but no, the Lamborghini has got enough in hand as they sprint over the line, and Carrie Moget is having the race of his life because he's also now done the fastest lap. Through they come, past the pits. And that now puts 5 laps in the book, and the race leader has 5 seconds in hand. So it's Ogier, Lucchini, Van Glebecker. Patrick Van Glebecker not quite being able to match the pace of Lucchini for the moment. There's the 5th and 6th battle. Coach McKenzie ahead of Mario Cordoni as they come out of turn 5. Cordoni again trying to squirt up the inside. Behind them, you've got Jürgen Hering, who is now being given a hard time by Christian Hook, so the Porsche and Ferrari are together. Carrie Moget, fastest man on the circuit last time, best lap of the race to his name. He is up now towards the chicane Nord. Behind him, Luigi Lucchini in 2nd place, and there is Patrick Van Glebecker, who is quicker in the 1st sector. The gap is coming down between the 2 Ferraris. 4th, yet another of the 488s, and that is the Russian driver, which is Murad Sultanov. Murat Sultanov closing all the while. Fifth is Mackenzie versus Cordoni, and then Hook's got past the Porsche. Finally, Christian Hook up past Jürgen Herring. Now let's see how long it takes him to close on Mario Cordoni ahead of him. Cordoni, as I say, is well and truly stuck. He can't make much more progress for the moment as they come up the rise towards Senior through that right-hander. And there's the fight for fourth. Lap after lap after lap, Cordoni looks for a way past Coach Mackenzie wherever he can. And to be fair, Coach Mackenzie is able to defend nicely. He's not putting wheels out of line. And Mackenzie, who's only really ever raced in this, has become a lot better in a short space of time. He's another that races under a pseudonym, like Edward Lewis Browner, who is down in 10th place at the moment. Some of the gentleman racers preferring to keep their identities a secret, and it's always been a German thing. If you look at the entry list for the Nürburgring 24 Hours every year, there are loads of drivers with pseudonyms. It's always one of the tasks for some of the event to go and elicit what the real names are. Carrie Mauger goes through, and he now has an advantage of 6.7 seconds from Luigi Lucchini, and right up behind him now is Patrick Van Glebeker, so that gap is coming down all the while. The two Ferraris running together then for second and third places. Van Glebeker 3/10 back over the timing line, now applying the pressure to Luigi Lucchini. Lucchini has been around the block a fair few times, he knows what he's doing, but Van Glebeker knows this place like the back of his hand. Past the airfield in the background, up now towards the right at Saint-Baume, into the second sector out of turn 6 and 7 onto the Mistral straight. Broken up for these cars with the chicane. Flat out, speed building all the time. And then, of course, there's this extra dimension for these drivers of the heavy braking zone. It's coming up right now. And under braking, Van Glebeker does close, and he brings the gap down. Through they turn, back onto the power. There goes 23, which is Murat Sultanov, getting a little bit closer. Still learning about this championship, learning about this circuit, but actually Sultanov is going very well. Look at the background, you've still got Mackenzie ahead of Cordoni. Now Mario Cordoni's last lap was a 2 minutes 8, slightly quicker, only by a tenth or so though, was Christian Hook behind him, so that's another gap coming down. Very wide goes Mackenzie, even wider, glancing the marker there is Mario Cordoni, onto Bose now. So this, the battle, raging on still for 5th and 6th places. The Lamborghini Huracan, run by the HP Racing team, Harry Protchik's squad. Harry himself, a very accomplished racer. And there the two Ferraris, together, 2nd and 3rd. Patrick Van Glebeker for AF Corsa, the team that operates that car under the Spirit of Race banner, the Belgium. Turning his way up towards Virage Dupont, and is he close enough to attack Luigi Lucchini? Not there, he's not, but he might be at the end of the pit straight. Let's see, over the line they come now. On to the power, Mackenzie still running 5th, Cordoni 6th, tucked up behind him as they blast through here. Look so accomplished in the qualifying race, but right now there is nothing they can do, it seems, to repel Carrie Mauger. They're not catching him, and Mauger is building that lead. Little by little, he's getting away. It's now 7 seconds, the margin that he has over Luigi Lucchini. Down they turn from Saint-Baume on towards the Mistral, and Van Glebeker is losing touch a little bit, look, and he's being caught by Murat Sultanov once more. So that gap that was 1.4 seconds, 3rd to 4th at the start of the lap, is looking less to the eye as they hit the Mistral straight this time. Ferrari, 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 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all in shot, 458, 488, 488. The BMS Scuderia Italia car ahead of the AF Corsa entry of Patrick Van Glebeker, and then Sultanov for Kessel Racing. Up through the gears goes Murat Sultanov, and he's on now to the second part, if you like, of the Mistral straight. All that special red and blue paint put down in the years of the place only being a test track, that special abrasive paint to try and slow cars down rather than gravel or grass. You get onto that abrasive paint, and it has the effect of slowing a car down. Many have been exploring it over the course of the weekend as this Formula Ferrari fight continues. They're now up towards the completion of lap number 8. Still 23 minutes on the clock as they work their way towards now the Virage du Gavelon, and then on towards Virage du Lac. Over the timing line, the one to watch here, Van Glebeker closing on Lucchini, Sultanov closing on both. So is Lucchini on borrowed time? There's another incident being investigated incidentally, and that is Claudio Schiavone and Louis-Philippe Cernan. We've not seen it, but contact between them in turn 5 is also now being looked at by the stewards. Ferrari's down at turn 3. Sultanov thinking about the inside against Van Glebeker, but not close enough. The run now, this very short straight into Saint-Baume, which is an overtaking opportunity if you are really on it. And then onto the Mistral straight, the lead gap now up to 7.6 seconds. Into the chicane they come, almost at the halfway point. Carimoget still with his commanding advantage, and now Coach McKenzie out of shot has dropped back behind both Cordoni and Hook. So Coach McKenzie, more drama down. That's the replay of Louis-Philippe Cernan being attacked by Claudio Schiavone. So that's what the stewards are having a look at. Louis-Philippe Cernan gets away, but delayed in all of that. So Schiavone up to 15th, Cernan down to 16th, but there might be a penalty to redress that. It's very, very wide at Busse. There goes Lucchini, but Van Glebeker not really close enough to take advantage of that. So Luigi Lucchini hangs on to the place, pro tem, and Murat Sultanov is there as well. But now, all of a sudden, Lucchini's looking a bit more ragged as he takes different lines to try and keep Van Glebeker behind him. Virage du Lac they come. Very wide goes Sultanov up the inside of Van Glebeker for 3rd place. Is he going to get through? Van Glebeker's wide up the curb. Sultanov might get a better run coming out of the corner. And the two Ferraris go side by side for 3rd place. Van Glebeker nearest us on the inside, on the outside line of him. It is going to be Murat Sultanov, the Russian driver. We'll have the outside for turn 1, the inside for turn 2. And who is going to come through ahead? It is Van Glebeker just on the inside line. The Belgian keeps the Russian at bay. And now Claudio Schiavone, number 20, is getting a drive through as well for causing a collision as here. Murat Sultanov is all over the back of Patrick Van Glebeker, which gives Luigi Lucchini a free ride for the moment. He's away and gone in 2nd place. The fight for 3rd, very intense indeed as Van Glebeker runs out of turn 3 and 4. And Sultanov looked for the inside line and then the car twitched and put him on the wrong part of the road. Van Glebeker wide, very wide at Saint-Baume. And through goes Sultanov. That was absolutely gift wrap for him. Van Glebeker couldn't have made it easier. And has he got a problem? Because he's wide at turn 5 and he's wide at turn 6. So all of a sudden, Patrick Van Glebeker in strife, and he's lost not only time to Lucchini, but he's lost 3rd place to newcomer to the series, Murat Sultanov. And now behind them is Mario Cordoni, who has done the absolute best first sector. And have a guess who's done the fastest lap of the race, because after his drive-through, Pierre Feligioni, running in clear air, is the fastest man on the circuit. He's down in 16th place, Feligioni. They're going quicker than anybody. Into the right-hander they come of Senior. There is Christian Hook, that's turn 10. Run up the curb. Coach McKenzie behind, coming under attack now from Jürgen Hering. 7th and 8th, those two are. So Feligioni, fastest lap of the race. He's on the lead lap as well, so were we to have a safety car period, and it's unlikely here to be fair, because there's so much runoff, it's easy to get cars out of the way. And so many access points. Again, you don't really need to neutralise the race like you do at a shorter circuit, so maybe full course yellow, but unlikely even for that. But a safety car is rare. You've got the Feligioni chance of being back in the mix limited. He's on the lead lap, but he's got a huge amount of ground to make up after the delay and the penalty. Jürgen Hering's Porsche, becoming the quicker of the Porsches now. The other one is Edward Lewis Browner, another of the pseudonym drivers, and it's with him that Jürgen Hering shares a car in the main Blancpain GT Series Endurance Cup 6-hour race later on in the afternoon into the night. So we've done 10 laps, and we've also done half distance now. 18 minutes still to go. There is Christian Hook going through. looking strong in what is now 6th place. Except he makes a mistake going into turn 3, and that makes him run wide at turn 4, and so he drops back as he heads into turn 5, still with Coach McKenzie behind him. Through they turn, Karim Auger, then the race leader. And now for Karim, he's got this hard task of maintaining concentration, of not putting a wheel wrong, and just monitoring this gap, making sure that the opposition cannot get close enough to him. The gap is 9.8 seconds. And the officials, by the way, are getting a bit cross with Claudio Schiavone for not serving his drive-through, and now he's in. So Schiavone does finally serve his penalty and come out of the race for the moment. Race leaders are currently on lap number 11. Karim Auger, it is, clear by 9.8 seconds. Here is Lucchini. Now, what can Murad Sultanov do? And I just wonder whether Van Glebeker now, having lost 3rd place, might be being called by both Cordoni and Hook. Yes, he is, because the last lap of Van Glebeker was a 2:10. Cordoni is lapping quicker than everybody apart from the leader on that last lap, and Christian Hook is lapping quicker than Cordoni. So the drivers currently in 5th and 6th places certainly have the potential to gain ground, especially if Van Glebeker's car is starting to wilt. He's off the road there again, look, runs wide and makes that little mistake going up through at turn 12 at Bandor. Mario Cordoni, Italian GT racer, Lamborghini Super Trofeo racer, Trofeo Maserati racer, a very experienced competitor, coming now up towards the completion of a lap, and it's lap 11 that Auger has put in the book. 23 minutes of the race done as it broke the beam that time. He's 10 seconds up on Lucchini, who is 1.5 up on Sultanov, who's 1 second up on Van Glebeker, who's half a second up now on Cordoni. So this long line of Ferraris that are 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. The exception in that being the green one, just to give variety, there it is, of Christian Hook. They stream their way up towards turn 3 now. Lucchini turning his way through. Curb and all, these very flat curbs. Christian Hook pushing hard, but going a little bit wide. Up the curve he goes, now down towards the right at turn 5, Virage Camp. Not to be confused with Camp Corner at Castle Coombe in the UK, which is a very different sort of corner altogether, much faster. This is a very tight right and run wide there, and you compromised all the way into turn 6 at Saint-Baume. If you get that wrong, you compromised onto the Mistral Straight. So it's a technical section, that 6 and 7 run through at the bottom of the lap through the chicane door. You can see all the different routes there coned off. So many options of which chicane you can take. You can double chicane as well if you take the first one into the chicane door. So the circuit with lots of variant. When World Touring Cars and FIA Formula 3 have been here, they've used the cut through just after turn 1 that brings you straight from Verrières onto the Mistral. Much shorter lap. Here you've got the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th group with Sultanov 3rd, trying to hunt down Luigi Lucchini, taking Van Glebeker, and then Cordoni with him as they come up now towards the long left-hander of Bandor. And this section, long and looping, not always a hit with some drivers. I was hearing from one driver at lunchtime who was saying he just does not like it. It's a part of the circuit where you're almost waiting to apply the throttle all the time, and it's a bit frustrating. You can't just get on the power as you would like to. It's one that rewards patience, and Christian Hook has a look at the inside there against Mario Cordoni. So he's now done what he did in the first race, get himself onto the back of Cordoni, but not been able to find a way through. And we have a report now that slow on track is Claudio Schiavone. So he's taken his drive through and he's then back into the pit lane with a problem. So Schiavone in strife as they're going through Christian Hook, hunting down Mario Cordoni once more. 14 minutes of the race remain. But Karim Auger, 10 seconds to the good. It's looking as though finally Karim's going to have his day. It's been a long time coming. It will be a very popular win, this. And with a 100% record of 2nd places, the only way to go, surely, is to score a race win. So they're turning up through the long right-hander of Saint-Baume onto the Mistral Straight. Goes Christian Hook. You see how wide Mario Cordoni is ahead of him there already at the chicane, though, is Karim Auger, who's been racing for many seasons now, initially in things like Formula Palmer Audi single-seaters, and then had a spell in the, as it then was, European Le Mans Series equivalent, moved into Blancpain GT from his very early days. But I think He's very at home in Sports Club. It's a calendar that fits in around his work, and it's against similar drivers rather than the real guns for hire, which was getting to the point for some of the AMs that they just did not want to race against. There, Van Glebeke attacks Sultanov, hits the curb, a mighty whack, ends up going wide at Senior, and through comes Cordoni and Hook tries to get at the inside of Cordoni going into Bousset. So Van Glebeke has had his race unravel, just like he did a little bit in race 1, because he's fallen back in this main race, just as he did in the qualifying race. He tried to make the move, he hit the curb, and that put him into all sorts of strife on the wrong line, bouncing out wide, door wide open, Cordoni through, Hook through, and Van Glebeke then now down in 6th place with 12 minutes to go. Steve Earle being warned about track limits further down the order. The Iron Cup for the over 60-year-olds being led by Klaus-Dieter Frères from Steve Earle, and then third is Louis-Philippe Sonnen after his spin. Is a Schiavone-induced spin. 12 minutes of the race to go. Moget, Lucchini, Sultanov, then Cordoni, Hook, Van Glebeke, the new 4th, 5th, 6th order. Through they turn in towards the Verrières sequence, turns 1 and 2. And now the cars accelerate on towards the Virage d'Hôtel. Turn 3. See these new grandstands that have been built around the circuit in readiness for the return to France, the return to Paul Ricard of a Grand Prix coming out later in June, which is why this equivalent event is much earlier in the season, because the traditional end of June date now has gone the way of the French Grand Prix. But it's great to see Paul Ricard with its doors wide open to motor racing again, and Formula One returning to France. Because for many, many seasons, of course, this track that opened in 1970 for French Formula 2 events, the Grand Prix itself had been closed to the public. It was only a test track, but now it's got a busier calendar. Blancpain has been a regular visitor here. There's an annual historic meeting, more French national racing taking place here as well. So the circuit is back up and running and looking very healthy indeed. And whether the French Grand Prix is a financial success, we'll have to wait and see. But it's good that one of the historical events is back on the calendar. Into Senior goes the long Ferrari line. Luigi Lucchini still pushing hard, and Christian Hook has done the absolute best middle sector on this lap as he closes on Mario Cordoni, who in turn has got himself onto the back now of Murad Sultanov. Now what about Patrick Van Glebeke? His last lap was a 2 minutes 11, so a slow lap compared to the others, and he's dropping further away, suggesting that all is not well for Van Glebeke's car. Not suggesting that he's given up the fight, but if all is not well, maybe he is driving for a finish. But we saw him have those couple of moments. Maybe the big whack on the curb has done him a bit of harm. Either way, poor old Patrick Van Glebeke is dropping further and further away. There's the Iron Cup leader, that's Klaus-Dieter Frères, who was in the walls at Monza with a damaged car, but here he's going much better, and 2 class wins beckon for him. He was a winner in the earlier race, and comes now for main race honours, he hopes, through Bandor. Opposition is Steve Earle, 2nd, Louis-Philippe Sonnen, 3rd, Roberto Raineri, 4th, and there, contact, Hook and Cordoni collide. Christian Hook round the outside, Mario Cordoni turned in, and contact between the two of them. Christian Hook finally having a run at him on the outside line, which would have been the inside for turn 2. And as they turned into the corner, an impact, and no doubt the officials will have a look at that one as well. Mario Cordoni gets away, and has Christian Hook survived it? He has, delayed, but he has survived. So he's got Coach McKenzie and Jürgen Hering not that far behind him. Here's the replay, look. So Hook ahead, he was on the outside line. Cordoni dives back up the inside. Hook turns in, well, he's the man ahead. And so it's really up to the man behind to brake accordingly. Otherwise, the man ahead has just got to drive off the road to give him the space. And so in the end, the contact is made, and out of contention, Mario Cordoni, and there may well be a penalty coming for that as well, for causing the incident. So actually, Christian Hook has got ahead and stayed ahead. He was ahead coming over the timing line. He is still ahead, even though I think now Patrick Van Glebeke will be back past him, and that contact is under investigation straight away. Not exactly a surprise, but just to confirm it, the officials are going to have a look. So we have then the cars on lap 15. Luigi Lucchini doing an absolute best first sector. Patrick Van Glebeke has just done an absolute best second sector. So any fears about the car, put them to one side. And Mario Cordoni still circulating, albeit delayed. there's Jürgen Hering, who's on the back of Coach McKenzie. Was there a bit of smoke out of Christian Hook's Ferrari there, suggesting maybe bodywork had been knocked against a tyre? Let's see. Jürgen Hering pushing on his Porsche for the Blancpain racer, Blancpain GT Series racer and VLN competitor, Jürgen Hering. Sprinting his way up towards Virage Dupont, out of which there Christian Hook now turns. Hook up towards the timing line. Coach McKenzie a little bit too far back to really challenge now. So the lead gap 11 seconds with 7.5 minutes to go. Ogier to Lucchini. Sultanov third. Up to fourth again is Van Glebeker. Down to fifth is Hook. Up to sixth McKenzie. Up to seventh is Hering. Up to eighth is Fangio. Up to ninth is Gosselin. And Mario Cordoni down in 10th place. 11th is Edward Lewis Braun in the other Porsche, ahead of Angelique de Tavernier, who after her spin has improved to get up into 12th, ahead of Klaus Dieter Freres 13th, Steve Earle 14th, and the penalised PFL Legioni in 15th place, as there Jürgen Hering goes now through turns 5 and 6. He's heading for the Mistral straights, and then the speed building on the run down towards the Chicane Nord. Karim Ogier, race leader, and is he going to be a race winner? In the background is the car he's just lapped, Deborah Meyer's Ferrari. Karim Ogier, an absolutely faultless drive this. The BMW well suited to the fast flowing elements of this circuit, particularly the Mistral straight. And Karim Ogier, who's done many a lap round here, putting all that to good effect, sprinting up towards the left-hander at Bandor this time. 3 turns on the power, gently applied. Now through this long right at Galabin, and then on towards Virage du Lac. For these AM drivers, these are big heavy cars, it's hot inside them, and Karim Ogier fighting the temperatures, maintaining concentration, and now has something to focus on, because up the road is Roberto Raineri's Mercedes, and he can go after that car, and as I say, now have an incentive to try and close that gap down and put a lap on the older style Mercedes. We have had in the GT Sports Club the newer generation, the AMG GT3 as opposed to the SLS AMG GT3, but none present this weekend. Roberto Raineri being a mainstay of this championship. Coach McKenzie chasing after Christian Hook, there behind him was Jürgen Hering. So that's 5th, 6th, 7th coming over the line. We've had a change for 14th further back, PFL Legioni ahead of Steve Earle. Still the stewards are having a look at that incident between Cordoni and Hook. But Mario Cordoni could find himself not only penalised by dropping into 10th, but with a penalty anyway. Coach McKenzie through, and there is Jürgen Hering, another Porsche stalwart. Coach McKenzie back on the gas, a regular in these Blancpain GT Sports Club events, having moved from the older Gallardo into the Huracan for his racing purposes for this season. There's the Ferrari fight going on into the Chicane Nord. 23 is Murad Sultanov, so this is the battle for second place. Luigi Lucchini is being caught little by little by the Russian driver, 4.5 minutes to go. But 1.2 seconds the margin was. Behind them, look, there's a flash of the lights from Patrick Van Glebeker against Deborah Meyer as he tries to get up the inside, coming towards Senior. Sultanov turns through the right-hander. Murad Sultanov has been a regular in the 24-hour series, the Preventic long-distance races, but new to Sports Club and going very well indeed. Mario Cordoni, a drive-through penalty for causing a collision. So perhaps not unexpectedly, Mario Cordoni gets a drive-through for the incident down at turn 1. So he penalised himself by having the spin and losing time, and now the officials are going to penalise him as well for causing the incident. There through is 23. Murad Sultanov now on the tail, as you can see, of the Luigi Lucchini Ferrari. They are about to get themselves up towards the timing line once more, and the drive-through sign flashes on the illuminated gantry above the pit straight to tell Mario Cordoni the bad news when he comes through. Over the line they blast, down now towards turn 1. Sultanov pulls out, pulls back in again, but that was quite a lap by Sultanov because the gap is down from 1.2 seconds to 0.3. So Murad Sultanov really going great guns, and Luigi Lucchini, who by default was the race 1 winner, the qualifying race winner, the shorter race, 25-minute race. He is being reeled in now by Sultanov. Can he repel him for another 3 minutes? It's going to be this lap and one more, isn't it, before the checkered flag comes out. Back on the power goes Sultanov. And if Cordoni doesn't take that penalty, it's going to be transferred into 30 seconds, which will, post-race, drop him way, way down the order. He's just about got enough time to serve it, but it really will throw him out of contention. There's precious little time left in which he can make a recovery, but Cordoni may be kind of expecting it anyway. Luigi Lucchini then has had a good day, and he's on target for a podium finish, seemingly. Is he going to be second or third? Karim Ogier leading by 11.8 seconds, an excellent performance up the road ahead of him here. Through towards senior turns. Murat Sultanov, and there, another great little battle going on. Jürgen Hering ahead of Frederic Fangio, 7th and 8th. Cody Gosselin, 8th, behind them there in the blue Lamborghini. Ignore Deborah Mayer's Ferrari behind, because that is a lap down. And so it's Mario Cordoni's red Ferrari next in the classification. But that's a phony 10th place because he's got this Damocletian penalty to serve. Wide is Deborah Mayer. That will allow Cordoni through on the inside. Cody Gosselin now on the tail of Frederic Fangio. Another regular from the Ferrari Challenge, the European Ferrari Challenge, into Blancpain GT Sports Club. There is the copper shell for the AMS in the Ferrari Challenge. And some then decided to go do different types of racing, but in a comparable environment. The leader is on his last lap, Karim Ogier. They're second and third, go through together. Luigi Lucchini looking as though he's going to be able to hang on in there and score a score a second place to go with his race win of earlier. Through Verrières, they turn then now. Karim Ogier leads the way, and he's on target for a race win and also a Titanium Cup win at this rate. The Titanium Cup for the 50 to 59-year-olds. The Iron Cup is for the over 60s. And Murat Sultanov is one of those, as a mere stripling like Luigi Lucchini, who's in the overall standings. A separate class for him to fall into. So Karim Ogier into the Chicane Nord for the last time. He has threatened to do this in Blancpain GT Sports Club for a long, long time. But Karim, after an excellent drive, heading up towards senior as a race winner. There's Roberto Raineri's Mercedes, the earlier generation of car. And on occasion, where you've got the current version, the newer version, you put the two together, you can see how the car has evolved. There is Ogier through Beausset, heading for the maiden win, and it'll be a very, very popular one as well, because Karim has been a great supporter of Blancpain GT Sports Club, and indeed of SRO's activities over the last few years. He's bounced back from a rather hefty accident at the Spa 24 Hours at the top of Radion, you might recall, what, 3 seasons ago now, in his Z4 BMW, and this, a great drive. Stormed away early doors, got a good start, because remember he was on the outside of the grid, but the main race at Paul Ricard in the Blancpain GT Sports Club is going to be won by Karim Ogier, a maiden victory for him in the BMW M6. Karim Ogier heads up towards the timing line. He will be delighted with that, a great drive, and Karim Ogier slows right down to savour the moment as he comes across the line. Second is going to go the way of which Ferrari? It is just going to be Luigi Lucchini, but it's a drag race to the line. Lucchini by 0.281 of a second is second ahead of Murat Sultanov. What a debut for him. Fourth, Patrick van Glebbeke, who did fade away towards the end. Fifth, despite the tangle with Cordoni, should go the way of Christian Hook. And then for 6th place, Jürgen Hering's Porsche, which has shaken off Fangio, which in turn has shaken off Cody Gosselin, and behind Gosselin is Cordoni, who takes 9th on the road, but he's then going to get this penalty because he didn't serve the drive-through. It'll have to be added on retrospectively. So Karim Ogier, the winner from Luigi Lucchini and Murat Sultanov. In the Titanium Cup, it's Karim Ogier from Christian Hook and Jürgen Hering. And the Iron Cup, for the over 60s, Klaus-Dieter Frères makes it 2 out of 2. There for 2nd place is going to be Steve Earle, last year's Iron Cup champion. And the 3rd of the Iron Men, as it were, is going to be Louis-Philippe Cernan. So Mario Cordoni's penalty will now be a 30-second penalty. So, unfortunately, Mario penalised in both races, one for a jump start, the other for causing a collision. Rather than it being a great day at Paul Ricard, it's been a rather frustrating one. There's Louis-Philippe Cernan, who's on the back of Coach McCanzie. Apologies, I hadn't really registered that McCanzie had dropped back so much, but clearly he's had dramas. And the Lamborghini Huracan is hanging on now to 15th place. He's had a pit stop, which is why he's lost all the time. But Coach McCanzie falling down the order, having been running very strongly at the start of the race. Into Virage du Pont he comes. This is the drag race now for 15th place. McCanzie sees the flashing checkered flag. It's also waved to his right, and he'll just fend off Louis-Philippe Cernan. But a great effort this by the Bussen-Gignon run BMW Karim Auger, the race winner. Luigi Lucchini second, and newcomer Murad Sultanov taking third at the end of a very impressive drive by Karim Auger. So Karim will make his way towards Parc Fermé and will no doubt be absolutely delighted with that. So an overall win and a class win. Very impressive drive. Well done to Karim Auger. Second place to Luigi Lucchini, who was not at Monza, but has come good this weekend. Confirmation of the results, it's BMW ahead of all the Ferraris. Karim Auger in the end backing off at the checkered flag, winning by a mere 9 seconds from Luigi Lucchini, and Murad Sultanov taking third. Fourth, maybe with a problem, because he did fade Patrick van Glebbeke ahead of Christian Hoek after his spin, tagged into which he was by Mario Cordoni. He's ahead of Jürgen Hering, Frédéric Fangio, with 8th, 9th and 10th being Claudie Gosselin, Edward Lewis Browner and Angelique Desavernier after her spin. Her aggressor, Pierre Falagioni 11th, Klaus-Dieter Frères, who wins the Iron Cup. The penalised Mario Cordoni falls to 13th ahead of Steve Earle, and then after a pit stop, Coach McCanzie, Louis-Philippe Cernan next from Roberto Raineri and Deborah Meyer. Claudio Schiavone also delayed with 2 pit stops, and the car of Dirk Parhofer joined in late from the pit lane. He lost a lap. The one retirement, sadly, being the Attempto out of Lamborghini, I should say, of Mike Hansch, which was a retirement very early on in the race after an off-track moment. So the winning cars waved down towards Parc Fermé. And we have a delighted Karim Auger for the Bussen-Gignon team. The team founded by Thierry Boutsen, the former Grand Prix winner. Karim Auger out of the car and embraces the team, a very happy man indeed. So Karim Auger, the winner by 9.6 seconds, is a delighted man. Very shortly make his way up towards the podium, but not until he has thanked everybody for their hard work. And as I was saying, it's been a long time coming, but a very, very good effort indeed. That great win by Karim Auger. So there you've got the Saudi driver. Helmet off in a moment. And Karim Auger, as I say, he's been a stalwart driver within SRO Championships for quite some time. And let's try and grab a word with him in a few moments. So it's been a long time coming, but Karim Auger has done it. He's a winner here at Paul Ricard. Let's hear from him.
an absolutely massive congratulations. That was such a mega race.
Yeah, thanks. It was really cool. I mean, you know, once I got the lead, I just had to concentrate on my bit, and that was the end of it. And I had a good engineer that told me exactly what to do. I had to be careful with the pace a little bit. The tires were degrading really rapidly, so I had to put traction 3, put it up to 4, and then just take easy with the tires. But it was good. It was good fun. Woo!
You made it look easy.
Yeah, wow, it was. Concentration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So well done to Karim Moget. And the rest of the drivers congratulating him after that impressive drive. So let's have a look at the best bits of the Blancpain GT Sports Club main race. It started, of course, with Luigi Lucchini on pole position from his promotion to race winner from the qualifying race, and he stormed into the first corner, but Karim Moget already up and past him. The early drama was this: Angelique de Tavernier biffed into a spin by Pierre Falagioni. Angelique de Tavernier got back up the order in the end to 10th place. Falagioni got a penalty. Christian Hook was working his way up the order too. Then there was drama in which, at the turn 5 right-hander, Claudio Schiavoni got into the side of Louis-Philippe Cernam. Great Ferrari battle panned out. Patrick Van Glebeke versus Murat Sultanov as they chased after Luigi Lucchini, but Van Glebeke clipped a curb, ran wide, lost places, and fell back away from the top 3. This was the curb biffing moment up at Senior, and that just opened the door to let the traffic through. Cordoni passed him, Hook passed him. Christian Hook then made his move coming out of Virage Dupont, got ahead of Mario Cordoni, who dive-bombed him at the first corner, and boom. The 2 Ferraris touched, and for that, Cordoni was given a penalty as Karim Moget ran out a maiden race winner in Blancpain GT Sports Club. 2 very enjoyable races here at Paul Ricard for now. From the south of France and David Addison, it's bye-bye.